Severe weather update.
All right, welcome everyone to another night of some live streaming weather information here from the WTWO News Studios. I'm Mike Tank along with Jesse Walker, who will be with us momentarily. We want to thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope everybody, first of all, is safe and sound out there, and be careful out on the roads. If you don't have to go out, don't do that. What we'd like to do tonight is really interact with you out there, and we've already had many people commenting on here. And what I'd like you to do, tell us your snow totals if you can, a guesstimate. Also the road conditions in your area or what you see out there. And also don't forget to list where you are from. Jesse, I want to start out with something that we had one of our viewers sent in a little bit earlier. Highway 36 near Montezuma was closed approximately 1,000 yards east of Montezuma. This was about 4 hours ago. They currently had snow drifts of 4 to 6 feet, and an NDOT snowplow was stuck. I hope they got him out. But does that kind of jive with what you've been seeing in terms of snow totals?
You know, it does as far as the drifts. I know if you follow along on our social media pages, and you probably do since you're watching this, we went out and cut a little video right on the backside of our station around 4:30 or so. We had a 3-foot drift out there then, and you know, it's been the wind and snow since then. So yeah, that sounds right. A lot of 4 to maybe 6-foot drifts across the area. The snow totals, by the way, they're going to be hard to get. It's been windy. The snow's been dry. It's been blowing around. If you had a wind block area, please let us know how much snow you've gotten. I have had a lot of reports so far, and I'm going to show you a couple pictures here in a minute across the area that we've seen the snowfall totals. Here at the TV station, I can tell you that we got 8.3 inches. We're probably not going to add to that. We're down to just some really fine snow right now, but I can tell you this is interesting. 8.3 inches makes this the largest one-day snow total here at the TV station in 40 years. As a matter of fact, it's interesting, it was 40 years ago today, February the 3rd, 1982, that we got 10 inches of snow at the station. So at least here at the station, it's been 4 decades exactly to the day since we saw snow this heavy. So this is a pretty big storm.
Jesse, were you working there, working here at that time?
I was 4 years away from working. I was actually in high school.
Do you remember that in '82?
Yeah, the early 80s were very, very snowy. As a matter of fact, we had 63 inches in one of those winters in the early 80s. So yeah, it was common to have a lot of snow in the early 80s. We haven't had that a lot lately. Although, Mike, last year, remember, it was February 15th.
I do remember that.
Yeah, big snow came. We got 7.9 here at the station, so it was similar to this, but this one's been a little bit bigger. So.
That was a wetter snow, if I remember, last year.
It was a wetter snow, yeah, not as dry as this one. As a matter of fact, it didn't cause any major problems. We were able to move it out of the way and all, but I'll show you a few things and we'll go back to Mike. If you've got questions or any comments you want to make as we wind down this big major storm, throw those up on Facebook and Mike will be monitoring that. Here's some good news though. This is the Graber Post building cam, which earlier today it was really hard to see. The snow was coming down, it was blowing. This is an improved scene. The crews have been out, but again, just take your time. As you can see, this is 41. I mean, it looks like one lane is kind of clear, not so much the other one. There's I-70. You can see the trucks going along. So just take your time, but things are improving across the area. As a matter of fact, now in our northwestern counties, we have dropped the winter storm warning and gone with an advisory now. The snow has ended here. We still have the warning in all the pink shaded areas, but we anticipate that to be let go by midnight, if not a little bit before. So things are starting to improve, and you can see that on the Dorset Automotive Doppler radar. North and west of the Terre Haute area, the snow is down to maybe just some really, really light snow or flurries. The heavier snow would be the darker blue. That's to the southeast. So again, the storm is winding down, pretty much winding down to not a whole lot going on out there right now. And that's some good news because this has been a pretty heavy snow across the area. Wanted to show you a couple pictures. This was actually from Lynn Hughes. A lot of us know Lynn from Terre Haute. It's a little hard to see, but this was actually 10 inches of snow. And this was in the Terre Haute area. That's one of our higher amounts we had. And then also I got another picture from just north of there. This was from Dottie Thompson, and this is up in Clinton, Indiana. You can see this one very clearly at 8 inches. So there's a couple of the reports that we had across the region. I'll show you one more thing, and we'll throw over to Mike and see if he's got any questions. But we were thinking the Terre Haute area would see 6 to 10. Same thing in Clinton, 6 to 10. So the 10 that Lynn had and the 8 that Dottie had was on board with that. Lighter amounts to the north, and we have had reports of about a foot up here along Interstate 74. So those numbers are probably going to all come in there. We're going to plot these later tonight. I've got some more numbers I'll talk about in a minute, Mike, but so far we had an 8-inch in Clinton and 10 inches in Terre Haute.
I think a lot of people are sending in totals. Is there a better way or not to measure the snow? What would you advise people?
You know, this one's a tough one to do just because of all of the blowing. You pretty much had to have a wind block. Basically, when you do a snow measurement, you're supposed to take 3 measurements and then take the average. And you want to get that where you didn't have any wind, no blowing of that snow. And this one was hard to do that. It was even tough for us here, and we were ready for it. So, yeah, if you you know, it looked like on that picture from Lynn, that might have been a like a patio table, maybe on a back deck or something where it was blocked from the wind. So if you had a wind block area, that would have been a good place to do it.
Well, listen to this one. This was from Marlee Tryon. She says probably close to 7-ish inches, maybe more. I know the snow is up to my lab's belly when he goes outside a lot. Now, that's not real technical, but it is, I guess, accurate.
Yeah.
Depends on how big your lab is.
Did she give us a location?
No, well, it's in Terre Haute.
Oh, okay.
Terre Haute.
Yeah.
We have Jeremy Davis. He says it's terrible out here. No joke. It's nothing but ice. And there is some ice out there too underneath, right?
Yeah, that was the problem. You know, yesterday when we had the rain and then we went through the transition, which was sleet and freezing rain, that put down a little layer of ice, and then we put snow on top of it. So, you know, that's a good point to bring up. You know, even though the crews go out and they will move the snow, most of the snow off the road, you have to remember that many of those roads had a little ice already. So it might look like it's in pretty good shape, but those roads are going to be slick with that ice that was laid down yesterday.
Yeah, Shauna Southwood says that 41 was horrible in Shelburne 2 hours ago, and I think some of the folks here at the station, Dana Winklepleg, she was going to try and make it home tonight, and she was going to take it real nice and easy, and that's what you got to do. I mean, you can't, don't brake too quickly and don't swerve. Just try and keep it steady as she goes. Karen Palmer from East Glen says around 8 inches of snow. Spring Marie Wilson, that's a beautiful name, isn't it? It's a good thing to think about, Spring. She doesn't say where she's from, but she thinks she has about 6 to 8 inches. And in New Goshen, approximately 8 inches. That's Connie Hinsenkamp.
Okay.
Lafayette has a lot more. That is from Connie Engler. I'm guessing that she's from up there. And that was the case up by I-74, right?
Yeah, I-74, we had a lot of reports of 12, 13, even 14 inches in those areas. But you got to remember yesterday, they picked up 4, 5, 6 inches. I saw 8 inches in Danville, Illinois yesterday. That was yesterday. They got more today, but not as much. I'll go over a few numbers I've got, Mike, and you can watch to see if some more comes in. We had the 8 inches in Clinton. I got a report of 7 inches in Rockville, which makes sense. Martinsville, Illinois. We had a 6.5 inches, so 6.5. Now, not as much down in our southwestern counties. We didn't expect as much, as you can see on the map here, from those southern counties. Did get a report of about 3 inches in Oblong, Illinois. They were still at a mix this morning. I said at the TV station 8.3 inches. Steinsville, Indiana, which is way over, right over in here. Steinsville had 5.8 inches. Brazil, over where I am from, we had about 7 inches in Brazil. Tuscola, Illinois. Now, Tuscola is way up here. This is Tuscola, Illinois, and this is in the 10 to 14 range that we had, and Tuscola ended up with 10 inches. And then Effingham, we got a report of Effingham right down here. They were on the border here, the 6 to 10, 5 to 8, and they reported 8 inches, which would have been inside this band of, you know, both of those. So those are some of the numbers we've got. Generally, other than that smaller 3-inch and oblong, most of these have been in the 6 to 10-inch range all across the area. So it has been a pretty common number across the region, but a half a foot or more, Mike, across much of the area.
Yeah, Universal 6 to 8 inches. Where is that on the map?
Universal is in far northern portion of, it's actually up here along the Vermilion Vigo border. So
that's right. Jeffrey Perkins just wrote in here, they just closed ISU tomorrow, and we just confirmed that they have closed ISU for tomorrow for the classes. And that doesn't happen all that often, does it?
That's pretty rare, actually, for something like that to happen. But you got to realize there's a lot of walking to classes, and you know there's a lot of snow, and it's going to be hard to move that snow around tonight because of the wind. So yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
We got a question from Donnie Ray Hall Jr. He says, "I've seen some snow moving out of Oklahoma. Will that reach our area?"
Good question. The answer is no. We're done. This is going to move out this evening, and then we're not going to talk about it anymore. So, by the way, I do want to tell you that I'm going to have some maps up later on with the snowfall totals. But yeah, the stuff coming out of Oklahoma is not going to be an issue to us. That's going to pass south, so we aren't worrying about that. What we are tracking, though, is the ending of round 2. We always told you that round 2 would be the big one. It's ending. There'll be some drifting of snow, but here's the key, dry Friday. So that stuff in Oklahoma is not headed this way. And then there'll be some really cold air, sub-zero temperatures are possible on Saturday morning. So yeah, Mike, once this kind of tapers off, and it has for most of us now, we don't have to worry about any more snow later tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, I have to say this here, John Shigaris. He says, good job, Mike, warm in Florida. He is a friend of mine. He just recently moved from Terre Haute to Florida. Hey, You ain't got nothing on us here. We're tough up here. You took off to Florida, John. Very good. Alex Jennerman from Terre Haute, about 9 to 10 inches where he says he's located in Terre Haute. 3 inches in Vincennes, and that is kind of stacks up with what we've been hearing. Vincennes, earlier today, I know Dana Wicklefleck was there, and she said there wasn't much, but then all of a sudden it started to come down.
Yeah, you know, they still had a little bit of a mix during the morning hours today, and they had almost all just rain yesterday. They had quite a bit of rain. Sam Severs down there had about 1.25 inches of rain yesterday. So they were in that 2-inch to 5-inch band that we had, and I think you said about 3 inches. So that's about what we expected in those areas. So that number was pretty much on board. If you are going to be out tonight, though, it is getting cold. Not only is it 20 degrees, but the wind chill is the key here. We still have these north winds, so the wind chill is at 6 degrees, and wind chills will be down around 0, it looks like, for the overnight. So here you can see, pick a location near you, and we're near 20 degrees, but here's the key. I mean, look at these wind chills. We're down into the single digits. So, you know, if you don't have to go out tonight, just stay home. And not only do we have the snow to deal with, which is ending, but the cold weather.
Yeah.
Were you? Okay. Let me go ahead and I'll show you another map here while you're checking for anything.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to show you how deep this cold air goes to the south. Dallas, Texas is at 20 degrees. I mean, it's 12 degrees below freezing. They've had problems down there with ice and knocking power out in Texas. So not only is it cold, but the wind chill, look at this, the wind chill in Dallas is 7. It feels almost as cold if you walked outside in Dallas right now as it does here. To put that in perspective, I mean, it's crazy cold way south. Oklahoma City, the wind chill is 3 below 0. It's colder there with the wind chill than it is across this area. So there's a lot of cold that's following the storm. You can see the moisture moving up this way, and this is the drier air coming back in it. And you had a question earlier about some snow in Oklahoma, which is this right here.
Yeah.
This is minor, and this is going to pass mostly to the south of this area. The main storm has moved through, so we don't have to worry about that. And you can see the progression of the snow moving down to the south and to the southeast. And I'll show you what it looks like here on the Dorset Automotive Doppler radar in a second. But everything is pushed on out of the area for the most part. We still have some light snow left over, but it's nothing major. It's possible, if you look at the clock, we may have a couple little bands of some light snow in the far southeastern counties during the overnight, but that's not going to amount to anything. So dry weather tomorrow night, dry weather to start the weekend. It's going to stay cold, so we're not really going to melt any of this away as we start the upcoming weekend. And as I said, it's going to be sub-zero, I think, as we start Saturday morning. So, and the wind also, Mike, is coming in from the north right now. That's going to be not as strong tomorrow, and it will change over to the south on Saturday. So tonight we got a little blowing and drifting, but after that the wind won't be as big of an issue.
Toledo, Illinois, where is that exactly?
Toledo, Illinois is kind of off to the west of us quite a bit.
Quite a bit. They have 8 inches, and then if we want to go east in Speedway, Indiana, they think they have about 6 inches there. That's from Christian Like over there in Speedway. And unless you're, Jeremy Davis, he points out something very important. Unless you're an essential worker, you're just stay off the roads. But then there was a lady wanted to know, Shirley Williams, should I go to work tomorrow or call in? I live in Terre Haute. I think you better call your boss. Huh?
Yeah. Don't get us in trouble.
No. We won't do that. So many people work from home, and that is a good thing to do, virtual stuff these days. Mary Beth Roberts, she's worried about Shelby. She says, how about poor Shelby? Does she love it? And we should point out that we had really good team coverage today. Shelby Riley was out there, Zeke Torres out on those streets, and they spent a lot of time out in the cold today along with their photographers. And if you're outside for any length of time, especially in the next few days, Jesse, you better prepare for that, right?
Yeah, because of the cold. I was actually texting with Shelby a little while ago. She's not going to be part of our late news, so she's actually going to get a break and get some rest. She'll be back in the morning to help out with the morning, so she's going to get some rest, but she's doing fine. Yeah, and the cold is going to be around. I wanted to show you a longer term. See the clock up there? This is February 10, so we're going out several days. This is a lot of cold air coming from Canada down across this area, so we may have a few days where it warms a little bit, but we don't see an extensive period of warmer weather for a while. So this cold kind of weather that we've had last month and now this month is going to continue. And so we'll show you the forecast then. We're talking 15 degrees. That's the low tonight, and the snow showers are ending. So that's going to be passing through the area. Then tomorrow we don't have any snow, but it'll be a cold day with a high of 23. And then after that, you'll see what I'm talking about. What basically just an extended period of some cold weather with high temperatures below normal. Every day is going to be below normal. We do get up to 39, it looks like, by next Wednesday. And if you're looking at the weekend, I mean, cold on Saturday, but a little better, at least 35 on Sunday. So, Mike, there is some hope of maybe some melting of this over the next few days.
What about long range? I mean, is that, how accurate can that be, long range? Because I know for a fact, you said here about 2 weeks ago, And you've even talked with some people. You were at a ball game saying, in Linton, I believe, where you were talking about the potential for this storm. How far in advance can you see, and what about our future in February?
You know, when you see, when there are certain things we look at for long-term forecasting, and when it's a big system like this, those are easier to forecast. And it's funny, yeah, I was on social media this morning, and this gentleman you're talking about was a Clay City game.
Clay City, yeah.
2 weeks ago, and he said, you called us 2 weeks ago, and I remember now, we were talking, and he said, well, we haven't gotten any snow. When are we going to get some snow? And I said, well, here, let me, and I actually pulled up a couple graphics on my phone, and I said, now, it's not going to be just like this, but, you know, we got to watch a couple weeks from now. So long term, the big events like this, we can get hints of it. The smaller events are harder. I think we're going to be with this northwest flow, and you know all about what we call clippers, Alberta Clippers.
Alberta Clippers.
We'll have these clipper events, which are minor events. They don't produce a whole lot of snow, but they will keep the cold coming, and there'll be some more snow chances. Somebody, I think, at the station, it might have been, was it Matt over here, maybe asked me, said, well, will we have any more snow? Is this going to be it for the winter? We're not done. I mean, there'll be more, but we won't have, most likely, we're not going to have another one like this.
We've gotten some big March snows in the past, right?
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
around tournament time.
Yeah. We typically do. We've had a lot of times in March where we'll get 4, 5, 6. I've even seen 8 inches of snow. Well, I even talked about this. Was it last night? A couple days ago. That in March of 1996, we got about 6 to 10 inches of snow. So yeah, we can get snow in March.
All right, Jesse, thank you so much, and thank all of you for participating in this live stream on Facebook Live and mywabashvalley.com. We really appreciate it. More than that, though, we hope you all remain safe out there. We'll be back at, we'll be back after the Winter Olympics tonight. It starts tonight. Opening ceremonies tomorrow. Our 11 o'clock news will come on at midnight, so we'll be here if you want to catch up on all the latest news, weather, and sports. Until then, have a good night.